This 500 is me. You pick up this 5,000, it is his.
You can't say that. It is the greatest insult to my industry. I shoot at the world. The gun strikes the ground, and I get shot, and I can't take it.
An ordinary migrant worker, in order to fulfill a promise at the dinner table, carrying a corpse on his back, he walked across most of China. When we've spent our whole lives talking about fallen leaves return to their roots, have you ever thought about it? For those struggling in the city far, where exactly is the path? Today, we're going to talk about the 2007 film, Fallen Leaves Return to Their Roots, received an impressive score of 8.7 evaluation. At first glance, many people think it is a highway without any jokes. The comedy was laughing and laughing, but tears fell onto the screen, because the two had made a promise. If anyone died in a foreign land, the other had to carry the other person back to their hometown, even if it cost them everything. Resting in peace, driving through the wilderness, the driver lets everyone get off for convenience. Liu Kuan-yew, leaning against the window, naturally remained motionless, but several female passengers immediately insisted he was an old thug peeking into the restroom. Faced with the auntie's accusations, old Zhao could only smile helplessly. He couldn't explain himself, and could only swallow the humiliation. One wave had not yet settled, and another had risen. They encountered robbers in a car. As soon as the bandit leader got in the car, he made a threatening statement.
Everyone on board was so terrified they didn't even dare to breathe. When it was old Zhao's turn,
he obediently took out the only 500 yuan he had, but held on tightly, the 5,000 yuan in Liu Kuan-yew's pocket. Upon learning that old Zhao was returning to his roots, the bandit leader from Beijing, 1,000 miles of bandits, was stunned. He lifted his shirt, revealing the fake account behind his back. This was the humiliating mark he had carved for betraying his brother back then. This seemingly fierce robber was shaken by old Zhao's pride. Not only did he refuse to take a single cent, he also stuffed all the belongings he had taken from the car to old Zhao to threaten him. No one is allowed to take it back. Then he strode away. But the robbers had just left, passengers in the car who had just shrunk up. In an instant, he pounced on old Zhao like a vicious wolf. Grab your money back. Then, citing fear of infectious diseases, forcing the driver to drive old Zhao and the dead man out of the car. Old Zhao, who was kicked out of the car, feigned CPR for his brother. Tricked a tractor into hitching a ride at night. Old Zhao checked into a cheap hotel late at night. The only money he had left was stolen by his roommate, facing the thief holding brand new banknotes. Old Zhao dared not speak of despair in anger. A cold connected truck driver let him in, and inside the truck, old Zhao was in a great mood, humming Wildflowers by the roadside. Don't step on it, but unexpectedly, these lyrics stabbed into the driver's heart like a knife. The driver kicked him sharply. She choked old Zhao and cried bitterly. It turned out the driver had met Xinxiang on this road. The girl swore to run 300,000 kilometers and go. But after she finished, the girl ran off in fright, looking at the tough guy in front of him crying like a child. Old Zhao gave the most blunt answer.
But the most transparent advice is, if you already offer 300,000 yuan, then ask for another 300,000 yuan.
Find him. The driver seemed to wake up from a dream, turn around to pursue love. After saying goodbye to truck driver Lao Zhao, he continued on the road, not going far. To get a free ride on Baishi, he planted Liu Kuan-yew like a scarecrow in the field. He sneaked into a funeral's home and burst into tears. After drinking and eating our fill, old Zhao turned his head and broke out in a cold sweat. The old man sitting next to him turned out to be a dead man facing upward. It turns out the old man has no children. Afraid that after death, it would be too lonely, he simply paid someone to arrange a live event for himself, funeral. Upon learning of old Zhao's heroic deed, the old man generously gave him a cart. He also gave him a secret preservative for corpses made by the village here. The film reveals the deepest loneliness in reality. Empty nest elderly can only buy the excitement after death with money. Perhaps old Zhao's genuine tears weren't actually elderly people. Instead, it was a life full of grievances and injustice, as fragile as grass. With the cart, old Zhao even got excited about the water buffalo. With the help of a lively young cyclist, old Zhao briefly experienced the joy of rushing down the hillside. Immediately saddened that the cart had broken apart, old Zhao picked up a discarded giant tire. He shoved Liu Kuan-yew inside and rolled away. When going uphill, the tires feel as heavy as Mount Tai. When going downhill, the tires completely lose control. Racing ahead, tires rolled away, blood was worn through. Old Zhao changed into Liu Kuan-Yu's shoes, and unexpectedly found several hundred yuan of secret stash money on the soles of shoes. So full of joy, he went to a restaurant for a meal, but when it came time to pay, he was extorted by a shady shop, and under the threat of a thug. Old Zhao didn't have enough private savings. He also drew 2 more from the 5,000 yuan compensation given by the contractor, but he hadn't gone far before being chased out by thugs and beaten up. Because those 2 bills were counterfeit, Old Zhao panicked, take out all the remaining money in an instant. The contractor used the 5,000 yuan to buy out a life. It turned out to be all counterfeit bills that looked like scrap paper. At that moment, Old Zhao's heart completely collapsed. All the cold stares and hunger he endured along the way couldn't defeat him. But this stack of counterfeit bills became the last straw that broke the camel's back. The devastated Old Zhao dug a hole in the woods and burst into tears at Liu Kuan-Yu. He was lying in the pit, looking up at the blue sky. He felt an unprecedented sense of peace. He used a rope to hang the big stone from the tree. If you want to smash it to death, he walked with his brother. But at the moment the stone fell, his survival instinct made him avoid it for a moment. He was knocked out by the blow. When he woke up, Old Zhao was rescued by a couple who were both mentally ill. The lady of the house exploded and was disfigured while passing by, but her husband took her to retreat to the wilderness, and she lived. Wherever there are flowers, that is home. Old Zhao has regained his track and field life. He deeply understands that people can live both vulnerably and strongly. If you can't find your place in this fast-paced society, then retreat to the wilderness, accompany nature and the sea of flowers. They can also live with dignity and dignity. Old Zhao was sent to the relief station, and at the station's party, Old Zhao paired up with a rock-desolate older sister to perform a double act, and she told him he sold his studies and scavenged the scraps to support his son's college expenses, but his son had disliked him for 2 years and refused to acknowledge him. 2 lonely broken souls. During this late-night lawsuit, Sister Chang slipped the only 400 yuan she had on her to Old Zhao. The 2 agreed to come back to him after he finished his business. Living together, this may be the warmest tone in the entire story. People at the bottom are just people at the bottom. There are no grand slogans, only a little faint, but it was enough to ignite a prairie fire. This was also Old Zhao's journey through this hellish journey. The only hope I received belonged to myself. Holding on to this long-awaited hope, Old Zhao got back on his way. He slammed on the brakes and sat in the truck bed, reciting stories full of childlike innocence in the wind.
My hometown is a big road, and I am a car. I run. I'm so happy. If my hometown were a big tree, I am just a leaf.